and I'll just use it for note-taking purposes.
Sure.
So, okay, tell me, what did you hear today that you like?
What I heard today that I liked from Governor Strickland was that first and foremost, he recognized that we're in a tough position economically in Ohio and certainly in our country, and he was realistic about that. But he also charted and laid out a map of what we need to invest in as we move forward for all Ohioans. And I think he touched on many subjects that are very important, economic development being one, education being another, living within our means, within our budget, and how we operate in the state of Ohio. And also, the biggest probably portion of his speech was education, in 3 parts of education of his plan, which is certainly reform of the education process, investment, how we're going to do things differently, and also accountability of our education dollars, and certainly our school districts, which includes our administrative and our teachers. But at the same time, giving them an opportunity on the accountability side to, be rewarded for good work, but also to, suffer the consequences of punishment for not doing a good job, and from the school system to the administration on down. I was very encouraged to see the tuition freeze. I know Dr. Gee from Ohio State was here, and I think that's something that I'm sure he had a portion of working on. But making that connection between high school and college, which ties into the economic development side of things. As a small business person, I was encouraged to hear the tax pledge to not increase taxes, which is a sign to the business community that they're not going to be facing increased costs in the future. Also welcomes people to Ohio, if you will, to create business and to create jobs. And that's in my perspective as a business person and as a legislator, we can solve most of our problems if we create jobs. But certainly the economic environment of the United States and Ohio right now, that's tough to do. So we have to kind of refocus, reinvest, and work towards the future.
Does Ohio need another job stimulus package like he outlined, and what would you suggest to go into it?
I think it does. I think this is the time to do things. It was interesting, and I think there's a connection between when he opened the conversation of the speech about building Ohio Stadium. There are, I'm sure, a innumerable number of projects in every district and every part of Ohio that could use that type of an environment. So in a sense, I don't know the details of going back to a project type system that built Ohio Stadium, but a type of system where if you're looking for work, you're out of work, that there should be a system, if you will, that we can get people together, give them simple, or teach them simple skills, woodworking and cement finishing and just some fundamental skills on how to use shovels and picks and other things of this nature, and simple surveying and things like this, that we could fix a lot of our parks, we could fix a lot of our secondary roads, we could fix a lot of community-oriented type projects and put people to work at the same time. Now I'm very happy that just the other day, Monday, Columbiana County Port Authority in Columbiana County, Eastern Ohio on the river, received $4.5 million from the first stimulus package under the logistics and distribution portion. And $4.5 million is a lot of money to Eastern Ohio. And what that money is going to do is certainly purchase land, help clear that land and get it prepared for job ready status. But it's a step in the right direction, which we've been about 3 years in the process of this coal to liquid plant. But we're moving in the right direction, and we're using these stimulus type funds to get us there. So to answer your question, another stimulus package I think would be great. And I think maybe it should be sort of a put people back to work sort of plan. That would be my thought, to do some of these basic infrastructure type improvements that we'd have.
Okay. Did you hear anything today that you didn't like? Don't support?
No. I mean, I'm in support of the governor. I think he's the right person for this difficult time in Ohio. He's a man who grew up with very limited means. He knows, that life offers you challenges, and he's fit for the job at this time, very much so, because he understands to be humble in this environment. A guy who goes to the inauguration and sleeps on the floor of his office, okay? When I don't know what a hotel room in Washington costs, but it's probably $500 to $1,000 or something like this. But that tells you the kind of person he is. He's willing to make the sacrifice and to do it willingly, and he's asking other people to do similar type work, and which I think is why Ted Strickland is our governor. And at the time, this time in history, he matches what's needed at this time in history. So all of us should sort of take a lesson from that, and to work, work with him. And that's really it. Is that I heard some of the comments afterward, and we need to not bicker about where we're headed. What we need to do is figure out how to get to where he's told us we should be. And that's what I hope that our colleagues on either side of the aisle want to do.
Okay. All right.